The divisional round, the Lions have a chance to win the Super Bowl at plus 275. The rest of the NFC teams follow behind with the Eagles at plus 375, Rams at plus 800, the Commanders at plus 3,000. Okay, Chris Canty, which remaining NFC quarterback do you want to have the most?
I got to go with Jaden Daniels. And I know it's counter because rookie quarterbacks don't win the Super Bowl. But this brother is special, Stephen A. Jaden Daniels is absolutely unbelievable. The poise that he was able to show in that game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the wild card round. You're only talking about 4 rookie quarterbacks being able to go on the road and win road playoff games. And Jaden Daniels is one of them. And 2 of the other 3 just so happen to be quarterbacks that have won Super Bowl, that being Joe Flacco, Russell Wilson. The other one, and Mark Sanchez, got to back-to-back conference championship games. So if history tells us anything, that this brother Jaden Daniels is going to be around in the championship rounds, and he may well be in the championship rounds this year because he's going up against the Detroit Lions team that is a good matchup for him in terms of individual productivity. The Detroit Lions are bottom 5 when it comes to rush yards and rushing touchdowns allowed to opposing quarterbacks. Their pass rush took a hit when they lost Aiden Hutchinson. And so you're thinking to yourself, if Jaden Daniels has an opportunity to have some room, that he could do some damage against that Detroit Lions defense. And so I would take Jaden Daniels if I had to pick one of the quarterbacks that are remaining in the playoff field.
So to me, the only reason you wouldn't say Jaden Daniels is you'd be like, but he's a rookie, right?
That's it.
And to me, when you watch him, he passes the eye test. If you don't trust what we're saying, like I spoke to Zach Ertz yesterday on the phone and I spoke to Commanders players yesterday about Jaden Daniels. And Zach Ertz told me we gave him 3 games. He had a 3-game grace period. And after that, it was like, oh no, he's not a rookie. We have not looked at him as a rookie since the beginning of the season because you talked about the poise. You talk about how the moment is never too big. And I even asked Zach Ertz, like, of all of the 6 comeback wins that you've had where they've scored, the go-ahead score in the remaining 10 seconds of the fourth quarter overtime, I'm like, what is your favorite? And he's like, I can't even pick. We had the Falcons, we had the Hail Mary, all of that stuff. I think when you look at the poise, when you look at the fact that just his arm, when you look at the fact that how quickly he is able to diagnose what he is seeing and make everybody better from the preseason, Stephen A., from the preseason, Dan Quinn was saying this kid, yeah, he's just calling his own audibles because he understands what he's seeing and we trust him to make the right decisions.
I get where y'all coming from, and I respect it, and I'm not trying to throw any shade on Jaden Daniels because there's no shade to throw. The kid is terrific, and I think he's going to be a superstar in this league for years to come. And I don't even mind the fact that y'all are making this selection because he's Lions team that had 13 dudes on the injured list going into the Vikings game. I get all of that. I think the hostility in Detroit is going to play a role. We'll see how effective he's going to be. I'm not picking the Commanders to win that game. I think the Detroit Lions are going to win that game. But I got to tell you, when they answer the question about the remaining NFC quarterback I'm most confident in, how am I going to ignore Matthew Stafford? Please tell me how I'm going to do that. This is a Super Bowl champion. This is in all likelihood a future Hall of Famer. The brother can throw the football. Oh, by the way, he's got Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp and Higbee in the lineup. You got Kyron Williams to run the football, okay? And then I'm thinking about his, just his armor, his resume, what he brings to the table. His last 11 starts, he's 9-2. 19 touchdowns, 4 turnovers. Victories over the Vikings and the Buffalo Bills. His postseason career since he arrived in L.A., 5-1. 77% completion percentage, 13 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions, a 111.8 passer rating. Most passing yards per game in NFL postseason history. Do y'all know he ranks 4th all time? Only Kurt Warner, Dan Fouts, and Drew Brees exceed Matthew Stafford at 296.9 a game. This brother's no joke. And when I think about, yes, Philadelphia should be favored. They're arguably the most talented team remaining since all these injuries Detroit has incurred. But when I think about the Philadelphia Eagles, they could be in some trouble. I understand styles make fights, as they say. Jeff Saturday pointed out the offensive line, smash mouth football. I get that part. LA's going to have to adjust to that. We saw Saquon Barkley rush for 255 and have 302 scrimmage yards last time they played. But the Los Angeles Rams, the way that they're rolling, and Matthew Stafford, if the game is close, this brother can take you out. He's a Super Bowl champion who can fling that damn football.
Absolutely.
I would tell you that's the most confidence. That's where my most confidence.
So, Stephen A., you mentioned Philly quickly, but no one mentioned Jalen Hurts. So, Canty, I want to ask you this. Do you feel like the concerns about Hurts are being overblown?
Yeah, I think they are. And it's not overly complicated what the Eagles' formula is. It's just incredibly effective because they have supremely talented players, right? When you have the best offensive line in football, when you have the best running back in football, when you have a top 5 receiver tandem in Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, you don't have to overcook it if you're Nick Sirianni or Kellen Moore. And so what they're asking Jalen Hurts to do down in, down out, game in, game out might not be as much as what we're seeing from the other quarterbacks in the rest of the playoff field. And so I think people's concerns around Jalen Hurts are a little overblown just because the team hasn't had to be overly reliant on their quarterback in order to have success.
Go ahead, Kimberly. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I want to hear what you have to say, Stephen.
Okay, I would tell you, I don't think it's overblown. And the reason I don't think it's overblown, guys, is because of A.J. Brown. He's on the sideline reading books. He's trying to keep himself composed and to avoid imploding. We all know now, we say wide receivers are prima donnas and, they want what they want and they could be a bit selfish or whatever the case may be. I'm certainly not throwing any shade on A.J. Brown. He's a stud. And when I see him get targeted just 3 times and catch 1 pass for 10 yards, of course, that's a reason you would sit on the sideline and read a book instead of, doing something to disguise what you're really, really feeling to the best of your ability. I think that with a team like the Los Angeles Rams, if you're going to win, you likely would need to run the football. But what if they put you in a position where they force you to pass? What if the Philadelphia Eagles are put in a position where you're forced to throw the football in order to win playoff games? Are we sure we're that confident? I root for Jalen Hurts. I never root against him. I know what I saw 2 years ago when he took him to the Super Bowl. I get all of that. What I'm saying is, over the last year to 2, that's been missing somewhat. Now, it might not be all his fault. Remember, he lost both coordinators and stuff like that. You got Kellen Moore this year. I get it. There's a lot of things on the side that come with it. I understand that. But what is undeniable is that what we saw from Jalen Hurts and guiding the Philadelphia Eagles to a Super Bowl in which he played very well, by the way, what we saw from him then, we haven't seen from him since.
Okay, so, Stephen, it's funny because you and I, we go back and forth because I always bring up context, right? And so in the face of evidence and context that goes against what you're saying, you're just like, I get all that. I get all that. Oh, yeah, he played very well in the Super Bowl. I get all that. But it's like the biggest game of the year, we have seen him outperform Patrick Mahomes. I understand that was 2 years ago. I get all that. But more recently, we were talking about the wide receiver issues in the passing game and the anemic passing game and what is going on with this team and Jalen Hurts. Do they trust him to put the ball in his hands and A.J. Brown? And I'm old enough to remember a few weeks ago, Jalen Hurts sitting down in front of a reporter and saying, is that what y'all wanted to see? Because there was so much media scrutiny about their offense and about A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. And yet they came out against the Steelers and put up numbers, right? A.J. Brown had like 100, 110 yards in that game. So the question about put your hand down, let me talk. I'll let you talk. So when you talk about,
I just raised my hand and let you know I wanted to speak when you finish.
When Stephen A., I'm in this special seat, so I'll give you a second. So when we talk about this being overblown, it has been overblown already. And we have seen Jalen Hurts come back and quiet people. So can we give it a second before we start making this a bigger thing? No? Okay.
No, there's a reason. There's reasons why. Number one is the obvious reason. First take comes on today, it comes on tomorrow, it comes on Friday before the game. Why the hell would I wait? You understand what I'm saying? That's number one. So let's get that out of the way.
You got me there.
Get that out of the way. So when you talk about context, that's context. That's number one. Number two, when you talk about what you saw from his performance, remember when he came out and he said, is that what y'all wanted to see? All of us wanted to show like, hell yeah. That's exactly what we wanted to see. What took you so long? Now, continue to show it to us as the season progresses. Number three, you brought up the Steelers. We really going to pick this day to bring up the Steelers and what he did against the Steelers? Yeah, I mean, Canty, you already dissected what the hell we saw from the Steelers. This ain't the time to make the argument about, because who you're going against, who you're going against matters. Who you're going against. I'm just saying to you is this. I'm not trying to say that Jalen Hurts should be thrown in the gutter, that the brother can't play, that the brother isn't an NFC champion, that he didn't guide a team to Super Bowl. When I bring up your points, you got to remember something, Kimberly. I'm not like Doggy and others, or even like Canty or somebody. I won't bring up your points before you speak. You understand? To offset what you say. I'll let you say it. Then I just remind you of what you said. But in the end, I'm saying, I get all of that. But here's where I'm at. And where I'm at is, I need to see Jalen Hurts have the ball in his hands, not being reliant on your running game and saying, I got to win this. And him going out.
But why does he have to win it that way if the Eagles have an easier way of beating
That's
them?
the whole
No, I'm not
point.
saying, I'm saying if it comes to that. I'm saying if it comes to that, I'm saying that's what I want to see because I think that's what is going to be required to be the Detroit Lions team.
Stephen A. We at the divisional round of the playoffs. ain't but 3 more rounds to go. And the Eagles haven't needed to do it yet.
Those are the 3 that matter.
But Stephen A., they haven't needed to do it yet. They have the fewest pass attempts of anybody in the league this year. And they are rolling. They didn't even play their A game against the Green Bay Packers.
Can I ask you a question?
What? Jalen Hurts still had 2 passing touchdowns.
Let me ask you a question, because you know football better. You've got more football than I know. Here's the deal, CC. I will respectfully ask you this question, and I genuinely mean this as a question. You are a former football player, man. If you watch the team and you're about to go up against the team, and their success running the football is what their success was predicated on, what are you going to do first? You're going to prioritize stopping the run, and you're going to say, they the least throwing team in the NFL. Make that brother throw. Let him beat us. Let's see if he can do it. And if you get to do that as a player, why do I not get to do that as a pundit?
But Stephen A., guess what? Every NFL team knows what's coming with the Philadelphia Eagles. They don't even try to hide it.
And can they stop it?
Listen, they use motion the fewest of any of the teams in the NFL. They don't try to hide what they're doing. They don't window dress it.
This question ain't about the Eagles winning.
We're going to run the football, and you can't stop us. And in the event you try to stop us, but
the question isn't about if the Eagles going to win.
But Stephen A., let me get to it.
It's about Jalen Hurts.
Let me get to it, though, Stephen A. The question becomes, if you're one of those other defenses, if you're going to load up the box, do you think that Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith can beat you? And the answer is yes. You know why the answer is yes? Because they put it on tape before. The best indicator for future performance is past performance. That ain't from me. That's Tom Coughlin and Bill Parcells. So that's why all of these teams are in a blender when it comes to trying to figure out how to stop this Eagles offense. So there's nothing wrong with Jalen Hurts. They're just not asking him to do what other quarterbacks have to do in order to win.
I know I'm not stuck in the cold like y'all are. I'm at a different place right now.
Boy.
I get that. But none of us were in a cocoon. Are we acting like we didn't have any questions about Jalen Hurts at all over the last 2 years? Am I missing something? Kimberly, you haven't looked at Jalen Hurts at any time. CC, you haven't looked at Jalen Hurts at any time and said, look, that ain't what we saw the year they went to the Super Bowl. He got to do better. We didn't do that?
Yeah.
I'm making that up.
Why are we asking those questions? Because they started 10-2, fell off a cliff, right? They are a successful team winning games. They literally got Saquon Barkley so that you got the pass catchers, now you got the run game. How are you going to stop us? That is why teams like the Lions are so good. Okay, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, okay, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. Like, how are you going to play us? We can do multiple things. What now? What?
You're talking about the Eagles. I'm simply saying I answered the question. Concerns about Jalen Hurts overblown. Him. I'm not questioning the Eagles. I'm saying him.
I'm saying no because we literally went through this conversation with him regarding him. Is Jalen Hurts a problem? Can he throw the football? And he came and sat and told you people, does that satisfy you? I did it. Now you just mad he's not doing it every single game when not every single game requires the same game plan. Steven.
I totally agree with you. You're absolutely right.
Okay,
every
Molly,
single
next
it doesn't
subject.
require to say it's absolutely true. I'm saying my only point is if you find yourself in a situation where it comes down to him for whatever reason, Saquon Barkley gets hurt.
Like the Super Bowl.
I'm saying Saquon Barkley gets hurt.
Okay, I get what you're saying. It comes down to his arm. I get it. You're slightly concerned.
If he has to win it, no, he can do it.
Okay.
Because we
Okay.
do it.
So Kimberly's comfortable with that scenario. All right, we're clear. We're all good. Everyone
You can
feels
do it.
good about the
Will it?
situation. Okay.
I need to read a book because
All right.
Stephen is
Right?
stressing me out.
I feel you. I need that book. Send me that.
AJ, give me that book, please.
AJ, I want the book ASAP. All right.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các bạn. Video ngày hôm nay của mình sẽ làm là video tô màu. Đây là những sản phẩm của mình chuẩn bị tô màu cho các bạn xem này. Rất chi là nhiều này. Đây. Những sản phẩm con vật, đồ vật, các kiểu. Đấy. Ở đây nhá, rất nhiều. Và những sản phẩm của mình tạo ra đều có màu sắc nhờ chiếc nhà hộp sáp màu này, rất chi là tuyệt vời nha. Và bây giờ các bạn cùng theo dõi mình tô nha.
Bây giờ tiếp tục tô màu nha bạn. Không dậy, mấy con dậy sớm này.
Không dậy được sớm.
Đi. 7 giờ đi. Chung không ăn được.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các bạn. Video ngày hôm nay của mình sẽ làm là video tô màu. Đây là những sản phẩm của mình chuẩn bị tô màu cho các bạn xem này. Rất chi là nhiều này. Đây. Những sản phẩm con vật, đồ vật, các kiểu. Đấy. Ở đây nhá, rất nhiều. Và những sản phẩm của mình tạo ra đều có màu sắc nhờ chiếc nhà hộp sắc màu này, rất chi là tuyệt vời nha. Và bây giờ các bạn cùng theo dõi mình tô nha.
Bây giờ mình chưa tiếp tục tô màu nha các bạn. Anh này anh đi ở nhà làm mà, nhưng mà thôi chịu kìa. Giận tổ đấy. Nè bố mẹ anh đi ăn cô hết. Đi ăn cô cưới. Ăn cô sắp cưới. Hôm qua đi 12 giờ đêm về, wow, lạnh thấu xương, ôi ôi.
Hôm qua bảo đi, bảo bảo nay em đi không? Không!
Hôm lúc đấy ngồi nhà cô Lý.
Lúc đấy gì?
Ở trên nhà cô Lý ơi. Có đi đâu? 10 rưỡi mới đi, bắt đầu 10 rưỡi bắt đầu mới đi.
Sao có đi ăn hoa không?
Không. Lúc đấy 12 giờ rồi, xem thì nữa. Đến 12 giờ 10 mấy rồi, bắt xong rồi. Đến đấy xong lên xem gái hết, xong rồi quay vẻ tắt đường chết phá rồi. Đông nghỉ. Đi với lại đi xe, cái xe kia nó ôi mẹ về đi mẹ tô đo. Đi cái xe bô bô to to ở đấy, đi tung não.
Anh đi ô tô.
Đấy,
Anh đi ô tô.
đi cái xe ấy ơi, xe của cái xe bô ấy ơi, bô to to đấy, đi sạch tải đấy. Cái đấy. Đi xe đấy đi đua.
Thế mà không nghe này kịp gương mặt lại đánh nhỏ.
Cái đấy to lắm, giòn tan đi mẹ nó mà dí cả cái ơi sốc sư. Mà anh tới trên huyện nó không bắn pháo hoa, nó vẫn bắn, nó chỉ có mấy địa điểm bắn pháo hoa thôi, ở trên Đông Anh đi ấy, hóa ra trên huyện không bắn.
Anh Kim, anh biết mình nghỉ cái gì?
Gì đấy?
Làm thế này đấy.